Good morning, good morning. How are you? So it is Thursday, it is 10:30 and here we are again. So it is starting to feel quite autumnal out there. It's yeah, I got layers on this morning thinking it looks like it's chilly, but it's not. It's weirdly warm with the dampness. So my kids back at school again, day 2. Thankfully they went in just as well as they did on day 1, which was a relief. I was worried that my little one would be like, yeah, I've done a day now, that's fine, I'm done. But no, he went quite happily in, which is good. So this is now my first coffee chat in a really long time, when I don't feel like I'm on a stopwatch. I don't feel like I'm sort of half listening to what's going on. I haven't got kids hooning around out there, out in the outside. My husband's on another call and it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to be able to just be with you and chill and enjoy this for what it is, sharing some thoughts, some reflections, some of my expertise, I guess, what I've learned along the way. So this feels really nice. It feels nice to be able to be a little bit more relaxed and not, as I say, clock watching. So if you're joining me live, please say hello. It makes me feel better that I'm not just talking to myself and a picture of myself on this screen. And obviously ask questions as we go, participate. It makes the whole thing a lot more two-way and you will get more out of it. Dasha, good morning, gorgeous. If you're joining on the replay, still add the comments. Please still ask me the questions. I get all the notifications for every time someone comments, and I do always try and go back and have a look. And if there's a question in there, I will do my best to answer it. So yesterday, let's have a quick summary as to where we kind of are with everything, because there's a whole heap going on and there's loads of content going into the group. I'm really aware of that, and along with everything else that you're probably seeing on your feed. So we have now closed the giveaway for the homework, which was a result of the Star Challenge last week. So anyone watching this one for the first time, just to bring you totally up to date, periodically I will do a challenge, which is normally 3 or 5 days of kind of specific training matter, I guess you'd call it. So last week it was under the umbrella of the STAR, so the STAR, which was strategies, tools, actions and results. And we went through a whole heap of both actionable steps, but also some mindset work as to how to move yourself into a place where you're moving your business forward and getting those all important results that you want. All the replays of those stay in the group forever. I don't delete them. You know, once it's out there, it's out there. I'm not precious about not leaving it in here. So go to the topics area and there's a topic called Star Challenge, and you can watch those over again in your own time. The homework from that is now closed. So there was a task each day, and those that submitted all of their homework went into a draw yesterday, and my fabulous oldest son Elliot helped me draw that yesterday, and Deborah won that giveaway, which was 2 sessions of one-to-one coaching with me. So well done to everybody, I'll say it again, that did the homework. I gave you quite a lot to do, I gave you quite a lot to think about. I make no apologies for that. Morning, Emma, because I'm Kirsty, morning. I wanted you to get out of it as much as you possibly could, and actually going away and doing some work and doing some thinking on your own is where that gets cemented. So we did that, gave away that. I still have the doors open to enrol into the very, very soon to start Employed to Empowered Academy. I asked my current members to share some thoughts about what they were getting out of it yesterday, and there was some amazing comments around what they're getting. I didn't bribe them or anything. I just asked the question. So if you are remotely sitting on the fence with that, if you're thinking yes but, then please just drop me a message and let's have a chat about it. Deborah, good morning. I would much rather us have the conversation and both agree that now's not right for you for whatever reason, as opposed to close the doors on the enrolment and you go, oh, I've missed that opportunity. This is 12 weeks of group coaching where you could literally take your business forward so that by the end of January, at the end of December, you're ready for a little bit of a chill for Christmas and you're really good to go with all the tools you need. But you'll be building on that as we get up to the end of the year. So it's 12 weeks, you get group, you get one-to-one, you get tons of training support in a training area that you get to keep forever. It's massive. But most of all, you get my eyes on your business throughout that entire time. So I put a post out yesterday. I think that's all I've got to tell you. So I've told you about the homework, I've told you about the Star Challenge, catch up on that if you need to. Obviously we are here every week. This is what I do every week as standard. I'm already starting to think about my next challenge because I just love them. I love doing them, and I really enjoyed the slight difference in the way I approached the last one. So it won't be long until I do another one, because I do really enjoy it. I enjoy the way that I see you guys getting that transformation, learning. I have to learn, I have to step up in a different way, so it pushes me to do something different each time. So it's all good in terms of our development. And now I have all these hours back in the day when my children aren't around. I have to fill them, otherwise my house would be overly clean. So it's all good. So I popped a post out yesterday to ask for some ideas for what you wanted me to talk about during these, and I've probably got about 6 or 8 weeks worth of content from that, which is amazing. Now, that's not to say I won't ask again, just in case something particularly pops up. Morning, Pauline. And but I'll kind of do each one. I didn't quite have time to change the invite, so, and plus I hadn't totally decided what I was going to do until about half an hour ago. I've got one of those little fuzzy hairs again. So today I've decided to talk about your superpower, which I think was one of yours, Deborah, on your list. Let me just see what you've said. Challenges really helped, some deep thinking required, and some resetting, replanning. Brilliant, yeah, fab. And that's what I want. I want people to turn up and like learn there and then. So you sat there going, oh yeah, that's made me think. But more than that, I want you to take it away and I want you to do stuff with it. Otherwise, what's the point in you giving me your time? I've been part of things before where I've sort of watched, and actually it is literally just a promotion, and it really annoys me that I waste that time. I don't hide the fact that I'm often enrolling for something or I have something to tell you about at the end, but I hope that proportionally to tell you that compared to the value you're getting is fair, and it's a fair investment of your time. That's what I always try and look to do, get the balance for you. Okay, so superpower today. I like this topic because this has changed for me as I've developed my business. So I just have a wiggle, sorry. So for me, when I started my business, left corporate, I started with a blank sheet of paper. I sort of said to myself, right, where do I start? What is it I'm going to want to do? How am I going to take something out to the world to find people who will pay me to help them in some way? And I literally just started writing down the things that I liked the best, things that I hoped that I'd be able to find a client to pay me to do. But it was a haphazard, totally random list of things. Everything from helping someone present, to write their CV, to prepare for an interview. There was a whole heap of stuff. But that's where I started, because nobody had told me about my superpower. Nobody had told me to try and find the thing that was already in me. So I did my best, and I sort of felt my way along a little bit, literally like wearing blinkers and a blindfold. And I realised that actually I hadn't got a product, I hadn't got anything that was specific enough to be able to find people to help. That's when I first got help. And that's when we said, actually, I need to be much more specific. I need to be clear on exactly how I'm going to help people so that they know how to transform. My process of helping them would transform them from being in position A to position B. But I still hadn't tapped into any of my superpower, like no clue whatsoever. So what I did is go, okay, so now I've decided on what my area of specialism was going to be, which then was confidence. I went, okay, I probably need to get some training in then. I probably need to learn how to be able to help these people. So I'll go and I'll do an NLP course, and I'll refresh an old coaching training that I had years ago when I was in corporate, and I'll do this, and I'll go and retrain here, and I'll go, again, not tapping into what I already had, what I already knew. And that's so commonly what I hear people say. I hear them say, well, none of that's relevant now. All of that stuff that I did over all those years is not relevant, because this is what I'm doing here and now. This is how I want to take my business forward. If this makes sense to anybody right now, if you're in that place of, yeah, I'm having to retrain, then tell me about it, because I sort of want to. I want to give you the. It's fine. It's like everybody does it. I think it's absolutely natural that we assume that because we're going down a different road, we have to retrain. But it's almost like somebody saying, okay, so you've been working in an office all your life, and now you're going to train as a midwife. Yeah, obviously there's massive amounts of skill sets and specifics you've got to learn around that. But you're still taking some of the stuff that you've already known, be it the way that you interact with people, the way that you approach problem solving. It is all still a skill set that you've used. So I was still ploughing along with my confidence coaching, and I was I was pushing all these courses, I was getting my qualifications, I was doing the work. So I felt like I was investing properly in myself and pushing myself forward. And that had some success, and I was bringing clients towards me to some level. But I still felt when I was turning up to both do my own promotion and then turning up to serve the clients that I'd attracted, there was still something that I was forcing. So I didn't feel like I'd sort of stepped into this new persona. I was playing at it, I was pretending, and it went further for me than the imposter syndrome. Like, I didn't just think there was doubts. Like, I thought I was entirely and totally faking my entire life, to the point where if somebody asked me out in the street, oh, what is it you do? I actually didn't really know what to say, because I daren't admit that I was a coach, because it just didn't feel like it sat with me. Like, I didn't feel like I was properly living that life. I felt like I was playing at it, like a child would play like a role play game. Deborah, you retrained as a coach in the broad sense. You have all the skills, but have to hone it for your niche. Yeah, okay. So what happened for me to be able to find my superpower was a free challenge. And I do them occasionally, both for myself, just to pick something specific up, but I do them because I like to see how other people run them and go, yeah, I like that, don't like that. It's research. And I did one in the really early part of this year, and it was all feeling a bit just kind of grey generally. Like, we'd moved house, and I'd had a break, an enforced break. I was quite poorly when we moved, and then Christmas, and then it was like, right, starting January, and I was sort of starting to push it uphill again, and I've got to start with this thing that I'm okay with, but it just feels forced. So I did a challenge to try and shift myself into more of a, yeah, come on, I've got this, I can do it. And it was while I was doing one of the exercises that was linked with that, where it was all about going back in time. So not here's where you stood right now in the thing that you're doing or wanting to do right here and now, but going back into your previous life, going back in time, back in history. What is it, was the question, what is it then that used to light you up? What used to make you excited? What did you enjoy doing? What did you get a real buzz from? And I wrote down a few things thinking, well, that's not relevant. And then the ideas developed a little bit more. So I want to explore this with you, because this is when I had this sort of like, I almost stopped and had to get up and walk around the room for a moment to go, oh my goodness, I can't believe I've missed this. So when we talk about our superpower, when I talk about our superpower, what I'm talking about is a thing that you have got, which is really quite unique to you. It's a thing that makes you unique. It makes you excitable. You're enthusiastic about it. If I said to you, what's the one thing that you could talk about? I don't want to get the fear of Facebook Lives going on here, but if there was something that I could say to you, what could you talk to just me about on the phone for 20 minutes? What would you pick? What would be the subject that makes you go, oh, this really, really excites me, and I just love this about life, or I love being able to share these ideas with people. I love this aspect of people's personality. I love seeing this evolve in people. I love doing this. I love doing it. What is it? Now, I didn't necessarily know the answer to this, let's be clear. So I had to go deeper in that, because I was like, well, I don't know what. I can talk to most people about most things. So I didn't have like one thing that shone out above everything else. Cooking. Fab. So I didn't know that, Pauline. I've heard you talk about cooking, but yeah, so that's interesting, because we have talked about the catering industry. So there's a link, there's a thread through there. Tell me what it is, because it's good for you to have already known that. Like, I didn't know this. If you don't know it, we'll find it. So I'm thinking, well, I don't know what my one thing is. So then there's another level we can go to. What is the thing that people compliment you on? You know, when you might meet someone for the first time, or you're part of a group, or it could be that really old friends are constantly saying, you know, you're so good at that thing. You know, I don't know why you don't do more with that thing. Like, you're such a natural at that. Or why don't you do more with this? Because it's you. You know, when I think of you, I think of this thing that you do. What is it? Because there is something. I can guarantee there's something that people will say that you don't even see in yourself. And that was my blind spot, and has been for years, I've got to say. When you can do something, or when you feel passionate about something, when you're driven by a specific thing, you don't even see it, but others do from the outside. So I had to go deeper. Well, what is it that I kind of can do that other people can't necessarily? What comes naturally to me that other people struggle with? And then once I'd got to that level, it was almost like, well, let's go back again and go, right, well, so if I've got this thing, and I'll tell you what my thing is a little bit more to bring some life to it. If I've got this thing that I've thought about, that I can talk about quite passionately, I'm really enthusiastic about, I seem to have some sort of natural ability to do it, people compliment me on it, where's that come up in my past life? Have I used that, or where have I used it, and how's it felt when I've used it? Then I came back to this current present day, and so all of that has built and built and built, now what? Like, am I ready to accept that and then find a way to use it? And there isn't always, I've got a postman. It's okay. Sorry, postman. And I'm sat at chat because he can see me by the front door. He's just stuffing it through the front door. The dogs are going to go mad. Sorry. That's lost my train of thought entirely now. I should just shut the blind, shouldn't I? So when I'd established all those various bits and bobs, I'd got this sort of list of things, and I thought, right, so now, yeah, that's where I've caught up now. I'm also wondering, just as a slight aside, like, he's put something through the letterbox for next door. Why couldn't he just put it through their letterbox? I have no idea. So now I've got all these things. It's like, okay, so this is the first stage. Like, I've suddenly got a bit of a light bulb of, these are the things that I can do all of that. How can I use that? And why am I not using that? So that rather than doing this whole push thing, I can look at this skill set and go, oh, it's so obvious. Like, why was I trying to do this and this and then this and then like push all the time, when here I've got a whole load of stuff that I could have just slightly reframed and then used all that to go forward. Let me see what you guys are saying. So, cooking. Music and developing people's love, skill and confidence, and encouraging people. Yeah, brilliant. So they're in you already and people know that they're in you. So Emma, I know that you're absolutely using that, but I reckon there's another level you can go to. Seeing things from a different perspective, goes, yeah, like that. Yeah, so you're very reflective, you're very contemplative as information's coming your way, you're sort of analysing it and almost being able to then shine that back to somebody in a different way. Brilliant. Yeah, really good. Listening, wisdom and insight. Oh, wisdom's a nice one. So people tell you that you're wise. That's a great big badge, that one. So where I got to with mine, just to kind of bring it to life a little bit more, was I started off with building relationships, and it only occurred to me when we were trying to get to the point of, think of an example where you've used this and this and you're able to take this forward. So for me, it was building relationships, and I just thought, well, again, it's that, well, I just do it. Like, I don't have a formula that I go, well, I'm going to use this and this. I apply certain things that appear to work, and they've worked over the years in developing professional relationships to be able to sell to people more comfortably, to grow accounts, to get those that work for the same organisation as me working really hard towards our same goal. All of that stuff is based on the foundation of being able to build a relationship. So I kind of went, oh, okay, all right. So if that's true of me, then in terms of the people that I want to serve, those that I want to help, they need to be forging a relationship with the people that they want to serve, because that's where my bag is. And actually, I didn't even really know that. I'd done a vague idea around my ideal client piece, but I wasn't that specific. I just knew that I would attempt to help people with confidence, but that was it. It didn't go beyond why they needed that. So from a light bulb moment, I was like, oh, obviously. So if people are looking to develop their skills in developing relationships, I'll just use all the stuff that I've previously used and help them do that. And suddenly I kind of went, oh, well, that's a lot easier than attempting to learn all this new stuff and retrain and rewire my brain in this way. It was just such a relief. So that was the first aspect for me, that there has to be for it really to work for me and somebody that I want to help, they have to be attempting to develop a relationship with who they want to serve. So for me, that almost excludes me from people who are looking just to do like e-commerce or an online sort of very black and white transaction. So if you're looking to buy, print and sell t-shirts and you don't even have a view as to who you're selling it to, that's not going to work for my bag. That's not where I'm going to be able to help that person develop their relationship management skills. So that was clarity for me. The separate element then to this was around taking my message to the world. And it's ridiculous that I hadn't felt this. I can obviously speak and present really comfortably. I don't find it a problem. I can just do it and I can share my thoughts. I'm a pretty quick thinker, and I can sort of roll these forward in a way that hopefully you're getting still the value and the information from it. So I sort of put those two things together and so I've learned a whole load of stuff around establishing my business and getting myself to a point where I've got some clients in, but I need to tweak it. So why don't I help people that want to then develop a relationship with their clients to use the skills that I'm now honing and developing, take their message to the world through what comes naturally to me, and oh my goodness, I've got something that feels good to me. I'm not pushing, I'm not in that, oh, I've got to retrain, I've got this. It feels natural and I can do it with ease because that feels so much better and it looks better. It feels better on the receiving end for somebody that just loves what they do and they do it happily and with enthusiasm, as opposed to somebody who's kind of going through the motions and almost like, right, so we're going to do this now today and I've got my script. It just feels totally different to where your business is going to feel like you're going. So my superpower, if I was to summarize it, my superpower is to make positive connections with people, to develop relationships and to help them with the confidence they need to get more visible. And I do that just because that's in me. That is within me all the time. Now there's all sorts of ways and processes and systems and strategies and tools that I overlay, but principally that is where the heart of my superpower lies. Being able to instill that, to encourage, to develop and all of that stuff. And it's that lights me up. So if people are always at different stages when they work with me. So I don't measure like, oh, I need you to get to 85 clients within this length of time, or I need you to have won this. If you're on that journey where actually you need to be able to step into your superpower a little bit more, get confidence, develop yourself, and I watch that happen, that is so much more as rewarding. That's just as rewarding as the person who's good to go but actually needs some of this sort of strategy tweaks and now they're going to be able to win the clients. Seeing someone win a client is brilliant, but seeing someone make that transformation because of me imparting my skill set to them is just as good. So when you get to that point where you know that you've tapped into your real superpower, it will click and it'll be almost like it's such a relief. It's like putting on that old pair of autumn boots. Here we go, back to autumn. And it's that comfortable, yes, this feels so good, it's right, I can now use my skills with ease rather than with push and with force. So let me just check before I'm going to have a slurp of tea. Have you guys got tea or coffee? Tea, always tea for me. Emma, yeah, patience over and linked with all of yours. Patience must be an absolute requirement. You can talk about the power of the universe and all its magic for hours. And a baby whisperer, well, yeah, cat whisperer as well. Building people up, yeah, that's brilliant. Yeah. So giving them that confidence, giving them that boost. Friends are telling me that when they talk to me, they have a different way of saying, yeah, amazing. So look what's already in you guys already. You already tea, nice, strong. But I think I know Kirsty will have tea as well. Look at all this stuff that's already there. Now, get it down. Get this stuff that you've already told me typed in there. Write some words down when we're finished. These are some of the things that have come out for me as my superpower. They're your first list. So that's identifying it. We've tapped into it. So you're passionate about something. You have knowledge on it. It lights you up. It feels good when you talk about it. Black coffee. Oh my goodness, that's really surprised me. Didn't know that. So occasionally I'll have like a latte or a mocha or something like that. But yeah, I'm not a big coffee fan. That really surprised me, Kirsty, all this time. So now you've got your list of your superpowers, the aspects of you that are there and they're doing their thing. Now it's about using it. So where are you with your business that aligns with that? And I don't want anyone to go, oh no, it's so not, because I was totally there. Like, I had that brain light bulb moment of going, what I'm doing right now actually hardly uses the things that I've just written down. And it was almost, yes, it's amazing I found it, but now I've got some work to do. And that's fine, because the sooner you do that work, the better. The harder you keep pushing in that slight friction area that doesn't feel totally right, because look, you're not tapping into all this stuff over here, the longer it goes on, the more you are likely to feel demotivated and ultimately give up, which we never want to happen. The sooner you then start looking at what it is your business then is modelled around, the sooner you can start tapping into that stuff and bringing it across and doing it with ease. So for me, it was that, okay, so I now know that my skill set is I will be specific about who's best for me, because I want them to then be able to hone those relationships. I don't want a transactional business that they're looking to establish, and I can use all the stuff that I've already got. So actually it was a tweak, but it was quite a brave tweak to be able to say, actually the confidence stuff isn't necessarily where I want to be. But I did it with an enthusiasm of, yes, this is good. So I don't want you to go from here and go, oh, okay, well, I'm just going to have to screw my whole business up entirely. It's probably more like being really conscious of what all these superpowers are and absolutely maximising them. So if you know that you've got a great literary bias, so you like words, you like maximising that and using words to help people, then where can you get that into your business more? If you know that I don't want to say hate lives, because I don't want to give you permission to not be doing your lives. Let's think of something else. If you, words is a good one, because you can use that in so many different ways to get your message over. If you know that you really make connection with people when you're face to face, then you can think about, well, how can I plan to replace the face-to-face we can't necessarily always do with something that's maybe on a one-to-one. So it's face-to-face over a call as opposed to face-to-face physically. If you know that your superpower is being able to provide people with like a kind of safe space that they're in, so how can you bring that into your business? What can you do that means that the people you want to work with know that that's what you do? How can you absolutely explicitly tell them, you've got this skill, you're amazing at this thing, and you're going to use it to help them in this way? Because as soon as you do, it suddenly makes sense to all those people who might have been sitting thinking, well, I know I might need help in this subject, your niche, but actually I'm not sure how they particularly help me. And when you add overlaying that, all your backstory about the experiences you've had, how you've developed yourself, what life has taught you, and bringing all that in together, then suddenly you're an absolute force to be reckoned with, because you've recognised your own skills and you're using those to their absolute maximum. Plus you're bringing in a whole load of experience to totally grow it and grow it and grow it. And you've just got this massive wealth of knowledge and skills and passion and enthusiasm for what you do, the love and the desire to help those that you want to help, and being able to communicate that to the people that you want to help ultimately is where the marketing piece comes in. It's where getting your message out to the world is absolutely crucial. It's knowing who you want to speak to, where are they, and how do you connect with them, which is a whole nother live. And it's on the list pretty much, but we talk about this regularly. All roads, this is my new phrase, all roads lead to your ideal client. And it doesn't matter how many times we cut different things into different ways, it all comes down to knowing who your ideal client is in so much detail it's unreal, so that you can pinpoint where they are, who they are, what need they have, and how you can fulfill the need. And that's around things like the course development, which Emma, you asked for, and being able to demonstrate that you can help them. But that's not today. What else are you guys saying? It is a roller coaster. It's constantly a roller coaster. But you know what? If it's a roller coaster, it's a bit like the waves of the sea as well. So it's like up and it's down, it's up and it's down. But I'm convinced that we never go down as far as we used to. So a bit like when the tide comes in, it's sort of, the waves carry on, and if you just glance at the waves, it looks like they're going in and out and in and out. And that's us as we develop ourselves. We're going in and we're sort of retracting back and like consolidating, and then we go out a bit further and back, but we never go back as far as we did before. We are always making progress. So even if you're in like a contraction state where you're just thinking, oh my goodness, it's just not happening, you have not gone back to where you were. You never do. And it's worth reflecting on, where were you 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago? You weren't where you are right now because you're constantly learning. And that's a really like validating comfort to know that you are always moving forward. Deborah, what you're saying, I think it's a case of finding your super and letting your business evolve as it grows. You may not end up doing what you thought you were doing. Yeah, no, totally. You may not. And literally kind of going with it, because fighting it is where you get that friction and resistance, and it starts to just feel a bit, and as soon as it feels a bit like, you get those days where you're like, I haven't got the oomph I need, or I just don't feel compelled to this, I don't know what to share, I don't know what to write, I don't know what my ideal client is, all of these questions, there's something in there that isn't sitting right with you, because once you get it, it is honestly, it feels different. And I can say this absolutely from my heart, to say there isn't a day goes by when I don't have an enthusiasm about something I'm going to do within my business. Now, yeah, there's like boring stuff you've got to do, which I think, oh, that's dull and I could do without having to do that. But that's kind of everyday life, isn't it? Like cleaning the house isn't number one on my list, but it's like you do it. So in your business, it should feel like you're excited to do it. And when you're using what you already have, it's not hard, and you'll find that there's more to it, and then there's more, and then there's another layer and another layer and another layer. You need to use the momentum of your super to drive us on the way. Yeah, so it's almost like a push and then pause, and then a push and then a pause. But the pauses are really key as well. The pauses are where you consolidate. So in a physical training sense, now this is getting a bit physiological, but in a physical training program, there's a very effective way of training your body to be able to improve itself quicker. And this transfers into this theory exactly. I don't know where I'm pulling this from, by the way. It's just... So to be able to train your body and your heart and your lungs and all your muscles to be able to develop themselves much, much quicker, you literally, it is a graph. So you push yourself, and then you wait, you pause, and then you push yourself and you wait and you pause. And the purpose of the pause is to allow the recovery of the muscle, the lungs and the heart, and to level out your heart rate a little bit. But what happens is that every time you push a little bit further, you don't go back down, exactly like we said about the waves of the sea. You don't go back down to where you were, and your recovery starts getting much, much quicker. So when you're in one of those pausing moments, that's where you're kind of reflecting, and you're going, yes, and now this, and now this, and so that next time you push, you're pushing, and then you're pausing, and then you're pushing. You're not going back. You're going higher every time you push a little bit further. You're taking that, all of that stuff, and kind of packing that into your rocket booster and going, right, now next, pack this away, next. It might be that you kind of end up going a bit, oh, that's a bit off, but do you know what? It's still fine, because I'm still not going back to where I was. You'll know when it feels aligned. That's it feels different, and as I say, it feels like you're being what you're supposed to be in whatever sense that is, and it just feels amazing to be in that place. Now it could be, and we strayed into this last night with my with the academy group. It could be that actually it's not work. So I'm just going to drop that in right now. I'm in flow. I'm in my flow right now. I'm on it, aren't I? We're only half an hour in. it might be that if you're getting that friction and it's not feeling right, that there's something else. So I shared my kind of August into September journey with the group last night, and it has been a bit of a roller coaster, and I've been through quite a lot emotionally about the children going back and where the business was going, and just change again in September. And I also realised that I was neglecting myself. So bad habits had crept in, I wasn't exercising the way I was, I just wasn't feeling good. And funnily enough, that then reflected in the business, and I was getting into that, well, I'm having to push, I'm having to force myself to this, and just like lethargy, not just physically but emotionally and everything, just lethargic. And I kind of had that conscious focus of I need to do something, and through August I managed to shift my mindset and shift all sorts of things, which meant that I was then taking myself on the up. But sometimes it is external to your business, so having that period of reflection while you're pausing, I want you to be able to reflect across all areas of your life as well. We are a holistic, we're a whole thing, aren't we? We have requirements in so many different areas, emotionally, physically, nutritionally, spiritually. And if one of those is like all those bars, if one of those is low, then the others are going to try and fill the gap, but they can't because something gives. So it's being able to know that actually there's times when I need to work on myself, there's times when I need to do this, there's times when I need to push for the business, there's times when this, and actually being okay with giving yourself permission to do that, and going, yeah, I need this right now, and doing that for you can actually mean that pause period of time is you pausing to do something else, and it's pausing to go and take some time out, have friends round, go and recharge your batteries in whatever way you need to do. And then when you go again, lo and behold, boom. Monday for me, I had planned on having a full day with my kids as a bank holiday Monday, but my friend quite last minute said, oh, I've got 3 days, you fancy meeting up? So I abandoned my children, with their dad. And I went out for the whole day, and I finished the day teaching a fitness class, and Monday night I felt amazing. I had done the least amount of work I've done for weeks and weeks and weeks on my business. And so that when I came back into it, ready to kind of go, right, let's do this, totally different, really, really shifted me. I needed that. So coming back to the subject, coming back to our superpower, you know you've got it in you. You know that you have the powers that you've already identified. Read them back. I want you to put them on a list. I want you to get them on a piece of paper. You know what your superpowers are. Keep reminding yourself of them. Where's all the evidence that you've got the patience, that you're a great listener, that you have that wisdom? Get that in your head so that it's just a default thing. I know that I'm great at this, and these are all the reasons why I know I'm great at this. So that's your list of your superpowers. Hi, Monica. Your second stage is then, how am I using all of this stuff in the business that I'm developing, in the way that I'm serving my clients, in the way that I'm looking to try and attract my clients, in the way that I'm taking my message to the world? How am I using all this stuff? Because if the two lists are so totally disconnected and separate, you're pushing, you're forcing it, and it won't feel right, and you will get that friction ultimately, and you'll exhaust yourself. So when you're using your superpower to its truest sense, you're going to start to be able to move yourself forward. We've also said that you need to move yourself forward in a way that feels right, that you allow yourself to move forward, pause, reflect, push again, move forward, push, reflect. And it is that constant process of that reflective, then moving forward, reflect, move forward, reflect. Right, let's check I haven't missed anything. You're in my flow. I'm in my flow. It's Thursday morning. I always get in my flow on Thursday morning. Pause and be kind to yourself. Yeah. Yes. Well, oh, I like that. What would you be saying if your best friend... Yeah. Yeah, so almost having that conversation of what would they say to you if you're in that push, push, push. Process your thoughts. Do self-care. Take time. Decide on your next step. Tweak and plan your goals. Yeah, this week for me... I felt really torn because the children have gone back to school yesterday, and like there's no doubt it was a pretty tough 6 months with them home all the time. But my children have never ever been at home. They were in care from 8 till 6 when they were tiny, and so they just rolled from nursery straight into school. So I have really felt this going back, and I think, you know, it's the change of the seasons, it's everything's moving on. They're ready to go back, and I was ready for them to go back, but I was I surprised myself with how much it was going to affect me. So I think that, combined with, as I say, the way I'd started to feel lethargy and almost apprehension about this period of time, meant that I did need to just go, do you know what, I'm just having a little bit of time out. And that's really key, that you allow yourself to listen to those thoughts. You allow yourself to lean into, yeah, it's fine for me to take some time out, and actually it's going to make the difference between being able to push myself on much further when I am ready to, rather than forcing it. I think that's it. I didn't write anything down. I don't know what I'm looking down there for. I think we've covered loads on the superpower. Tell me if anyone's got any questions, any big aha moments, anything that you're going to go away and explore a little bit further. I'd love to know that it's kind of triggered something, or it's made you go, yeah, I'm going to look at that a little bit more. That's why I do it. I like to know. It's like when I teach a class, which I'm teaching loads at the moment and learning a whole new stuff. But when people come up to me and go, I really enjoyed that. I've had such a good workout. That does it for me. That's all I need. So if this has been good, tell me. I'm going to recreate the invite, and I'll put the subject matter on for next week. As I say, I've probably got 6 or 8 weeks worth of live content now. So I will finally remind you, doors close really soon for the enrolment of the Academy. These are just little snippets of what you get. You get a whole heap of bank of content, plus you get me with your business, with you, and all those amazing words that the Academy members used to describe what it is. So if part of you is saying yes and you want to talk about it, let's have that conversation sooner rather than later. Go and have an amazing last couple of days of the week. I hope you don't get too wet in the drizzle and greyness of the day. Go and enjoy, and I will see you really soon. See you later. Bye.